Hello friends, this is Pastor Artur Pawlowski, and as you can tell, I am sitting here in Lloydminster, out of all the places, with our own domestic hero, Michael Jackson. I'm sure you remember I interviewed him when he was still locked in prison in Regina. His crime? Well, he did not want his daughter to be jabbed, so he took his daughter and he triggered a court proceedings to prevent that from happening. Well, he was attacked, viciously charged with kidnapping, and spent a year in prison. It's unbelievable. He was multiple times denied bail, while at the same time pedophiles, murderers, drug traffickers, human traffickers are let out back into society on bail. This man was denied bail. Well, miracles do happen, and eventually a year later they released him. So I'm sure you're curious what is happening with Michael Jackson. What is going to happen to him? What is the near future has in store for you? Michael, tell us what's going on. What is ahead?
Well, thank God I'm out. That's the first thing. Glory be to God. I'm thankful that I'm released. I'm thankful that God is still with me, always has been, never will leave me, and that He brought me through it. It was a tough year, obviously. It was a struggle, but during the end times there, when they offered to let me go if I pled guilty, and I said no, and then within a few weeks, something happened. We still don't know what it is, but the Crown messed up somehow. They weren't ready for our trial. So they brought me down, I guess it was the 13th of February. It was the weekend before that. They called me to court and they said, we're going to let you go because everything's kind of a mess. And I was like, well, awesome. So they let me go on Monday morning, and I've been out for a little over a week, almost 2 now, I guess. And it's been great. I traveled up here to Lloydminster to the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, and it's been great. Been just worshiping God, praising the Lord, and just I don't know what's going to happen going forward. The trial's still pending, and but it's good I'm out. I've been released without any conditions, except of course they don't want me to talk to my daughter. So I'm still looking at dealing with that in family court. And that'll be still an uphill battle, I'm sure. But I'm just thankful to be out and be able to talk and to address what's been going on.
A few things that I noticed when we were, we spent a weekend together, which is kind of cool because, you always have different expectations on the phone. Your voice sounds completely different than the one from those crazy phones in prison.
Where they're recording everything you say.
Of course they are, because you're so dangerous, right?
Yeah.
They need to know, they need to hear. But anyway, I'm kind of observing you during that time, and you keep coming with those jokes. I didn't have that for a year. The last time I had a bacon was a year ago, and it's kind of interesting, because you did not have a bacon out of all the things. I'm not advocating for bacon, by the way, but you didn't have it
But
for
we are Canadian.
a year. And when I was in prison, we had bacon.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Wow.
But you see, here's the difference. I had bacon when I was eating. Of course, as you know, most of my time over there was, I was fasting. But when I finally had something to eat, I had bacon, but I also had metal cages, solitary confinement on concrete, no washroom, no water. You didn't have those commodities.
No, but I did get put on suicide watch when I went on my hunger strike, though. And they shone a great big halogen light in your cell and wouldn't give me my Bible, they said, until I ate. So it's the same system they're put on all of us, right? And it's remand, so they just put the living hell on you to try and get you to plead guilty. And if it wasn't for God giving us strength, I don't know where we'd be today.
And that's the part that it saddens me the most. You are waiting for trial, so you're pretty much guilty before you have even a chance to try your case.
Yeah.
The notion of innocent until proven guilty does not exist in Canada anymore. You're already guilty. If you're there, you're guilty. That's it. And they will treat you as guilty as you are, as they can, to punish you. But I think that was the saddest part of the ordeal, that everything is rigged against you to plead, to take the plea so you can get out of hell and go to a regular prison, which is of course straining the system.
Yes.
We taxpayers pay for that, but the system is rigged in such a way that they want the people to plea, and then off you go to another prison. It's horrible.
It is. It's brutal. They just demean you. They abuse you in there to the nth degree. It's terrible the way they treat you. The court treats you the same. The judges treat you the same. You can say whatever you want. It's all the same thing. It's what do they call it? Something, I don't even, it's forced contrition. Like, it's just like, you plead guilty or else we're going to make you live in hell. Most of the women or fathers that have been through what I've been through in the past, case law in Ontario and BC and places like that, when a father took or a mother took their child to and it wasn't even for a reason. I had a reason. These people just took their children because they were angry with their ex over a custody battle. They were given like 3 months, suspended sentences. One guy went to Ireland with his kid for 11 years and came back and got in-house arrest for a year. Me, I'm in there, no criminal record, and no bail, no nothing. Can't talk about why. They want to keep it all secret, you know. And I've already served now, if you consider it time and a half, I've served 18 months. And they still haven't let it go.
Unbelievable. It's everything is rigged. That's why, as you know, I decided to run for political office, because one of the things that we need to change, we desperately need to change, is the so-called justice system. I don't want the judges to be appointed by politicians or political parties. Why? Because if a judge is appointed by a politician, then obviously he works for that political party or for that political individual. What we need to start electing judges that we know, judges that we know where they live. We can actually see if they're good people. Maybe they're horrible monsters. We don't know. It has been stolen from our society. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. And I think that was the reason, Michael. I believe that was the reason why God allowed me to go to prison for that time, so I can become a victim, so I can taste the injustice that is happening in the land, just like you tasted that injustice. So we are more compassionate to other victims of this injustice. And of course, naturally, our God has given us this zeal. When we see something evil, we want to change that. We want to fix the problem. So that's what I want to do. If by the mercy of God and the will of the people I'll be elected, I want to change the so-called justice system and bring back checks and balances and accountability. So now, Michael, you're living in your house. God didn't allow the hyenas to steal your house.
No, barely, yes. Friends of mine supported me and kept it going. Thank goodness.
Is that not amazing?
Yes.
That even though he was locked like an animal in a cage, God spared his house.
Yes. Yes, and told me in there that I wouldn't lose it. I was, you know, obviously, like all these people who go to jail and are on remand and wait years for trial, they first wanted me to wait till 2024, the spring, for a trial, which would have been 3 years in prison before I got even trial. Think of all the people who get put in remand and lose their homes. If you had a mortgage, you know, somebody's got, you know, $100,000, they paid off a $300,000 house. Too bad, you're not getting out. I understand the need to keep certain people in jail. You know, certain violent people who constantly reoffend. But when someone's put in jail who's had no serious implications with the law, they're not a threat, they're not violent, to keep them in there, you're only trying to destroy their life. That's the only purpose for keeping them in there, is to destroy their life.
It's criminal.
It is.
Actually, those people that do that are the real criminals. And they should be charged for doing everything in their power to destroy another human life. So those are the things that we need to change. So you're going back to Saskatchewan?
Yes.
You're still living in Saskatchewan?
Yes. Yes.
I have forgiven him for that. And I just want you now to pray for him. You know, we'll pray for you.
Yes.
We'll pray that God will move you to Alberta.
Well, I tell you, it's a dark place. It really is. You don't, it's the way the governments are running, they're really darkening the provinces. And the one I live in, you know, I don't know about the government in Saskatchewan that much, but, you know, he was the same, he followed the same as the rest of them, right? Lock them all down And then after he got sick, Mo, after he got sick, after his second thing, he came out on the news just when I got arrested and said, "Oh, I don't think the vaccine works." Oh, but I was supposed to let my daughter, my 7-year-old, take it and experiment with it. Because I didn't, this is what happens.
But now 3 years later, we know that this whole thing was a big fat lie. People are dying because of the adverse reactions. They are wounded because of that. More and more people's eyes are being opened. And I have phone calls and texts almost daily now. People saying to me, "Pastor Art, you were right from the very beginning."
Yes.
So we just gotta keep praying that that more and more people will be awakened to what's really going on. So do not lose hope. Look, this man, I had so many conversations with him from prison, and he had his moments, just like I had my moments, but we kept God in the middle of our ordeal, and we were not willing to let go. It's like that woman that grabbed the garment of the Lord and says, "I will not let you go. I want to be healed." So that's what you need to do. Keep the faith, stay strong, be blessed, don't give up, and remember, we are lions, and we do not bow before the hyenas. We already won. The enemy just doesn't know it yet.
Yeah, rise up. Rise up.
And that was actually the title of the men's conference here. Yeah. Men, rise up. So I say to you, Albertans, Canadians, rise up, stand up, don't quit, be victorious, be blessed.